There are so many variations of chicken curry, and this is one that I make regularly for myself, Imelda and the twins, and we really like it. It's not too spicy. It's a really quick curry. The key is good chicken, really good spices. First thing we're going to do is we're going to cook some rice. So saucepan of water, we're going to put in some salt, and we're going to put in some butter. Yes, butter. Okay, 1 little cube of butter goes in there. And what I'm going to do is we're going to use some of the basmati rice. So just your pure basmati rice. All right, we're going to literally just cook this in half a stock cube. So that's going to go in there. I'm going to get my whisk. So the stock cube will enrich it. Instead of just doing regular water, which is in here, the stock cube will give great flavour. So try and pick, if you can, a low salt stock cube. Callow is a good brand to use. Salt for seasoning, and then in go our rice. Simple like that. The basmati rice goes in like that. Now we're going to give it a good whisk. And then we're going to put the lid on. So we're going to bring that to the boil. I'm going to cook that for about maybe 8 or 9 minutes. So I'm going to whisk it now in a few minutes. Keep the lid on. And then what we'll do is it should be nice and fluffy, and we'll just finish that with maybe some herbs, some chopped coriander. Okay, so this curry can be made ahead. So I'm going to just heat my pan. I'm using my skillet pan for this. And we're going to use some nice rapeseed oil, okay? Because it is a high smoke temperature. This is Irish rapeseed a producer based in County Louth, Derry Karma, and it's a really lovely oil to use. I'm a big fan, so I am. Okay, so the base for the curry, very easy. We're going to put in 1 onion, which is diced, some garlic. We're going to crush that. So 3 or 4 cloves of garlic. We're going to put this into our crusher here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to just sweat this off in the actual pan. So I'm going to put in my other 2 cloves of garlic. So this is a really foolproof recipe. It's lovely and creamy because I'm using coconut milk. So I'm going to put this in first of all. So 4 cloves of garlic, and that's roughly about 1 kind of like small onion. You can add more onion, you can slice it. So I'm just going to literally soften this for a minute or 2. We're going to grate some ginger, and this is a really good tip when you're using ginger. Get it, this is the root ginger, peel it, and then wrap it in cling film and throw it into the freezer. So I'm just using my microplane here. So my grater, watch the fingers, this is sharp. And then we're going to put this in, and I love ginger. Ginger is just so important in this recipe. So lots of lovely ginger. Now, I'm watching at the corner of my eye, just the rice is cooking away. And of course you can serve this just with some mashed potatoes, or you can serve it if you want to with, you know, even a potato wedge or something like that, chips. It works really, really well. So we just soften this for a minute. I'm just going to lift off the lid of the rice. Give it a whisk to make sure that it's not all sticking together. Really important. Just this is what we call a balloon whisk. So to recap, we have basmati rice, we have water, half a stock cube, some salt and some butter. And I might even throw another little bit of butter in there because it gives so much richness. It's absolutely beautiful. Okay, now that's lovely. So you can look at this here. This is our onion, ginger, garlic. Now let's talk about our spices. This is crucial. So we're using 2 of these beautiful organic spices, and these are part of the Simply Better collection. These are absolutely wonderful. So they're produced from a company called Oko. They're based in Athlone. So this is a mild curry powder. It's not hot. I'm going to put in 2 large spoonfuls in here. And into that, we're going to put in 1 large spoonful of the turmeric. Now look how vibrant and yellow that is. Now you need to be careful with the turmeric because it can be very strong and it can stay in your board. So be really careful of that. So I'm just going to literally cook this. I'm just going to coat the onion and the ginger and the garlic with the spices. Okay. That's perfect. So they really are excellent. And I like that they're small quantities. You're not buying huge amounts of the actual spices, but they really are excellent. So, and if you want it spicy, you can put in some of the harissa spice. You can put in the chopped chili into that. Absolutely no problem. Now, the next thing we're going to put in is these chopped tomatoes. They're called the San Marzano tomatoes. These are absolutely fantastic. They're from Puglia. So it's a volcanic soil that gives them great flavour. So I'm going to put that in there, scrape all that out. And just stir this through here. Now, it's looking really good. Gorgeous. Okay. Now into that, we are going to put in some coconut milk, and this is from a great Irish company, and they're called Thai Gold. They're based in Wexford. So this is organic coconut milk. They have beautiful rice, jasmine rice. They have wonderful Thai curry paste, and all their stuff is absolutely excellent. So I'm using their products for over 20 years, and they're so consistent. They really are some of the best. Is it low fat? No, it's not. And it is rich, it is creamy, and it is delicious. And I asked Norman once, people were asking me, oh, did they do low fat coconut milk? And he said no, it's half water. So just remember that. It's lovely and creamy and delicious, and that's exactly what I want. And you can see it here, the lovely colour from the tomatoes, the turmeric coming through onto that, which is just perfect what I want. Okay, back onto my rice. Again, give it one more whisk. I'm going to give it about another maybe 2-3 more minutes. Then I'm going to switch it off, and hopefully the steam will cook it out, and it should be ready to be served out. You just let it sit. Okay, now I'm actually going to poach my chicken. I want to talk to you about the chicken that I'm using. So this is the corn-fed chicken I'm using. I have 4 chicken breasts, and if you notice how thin I've actually cut it, really, really thin, because I wanted to cook during the video. So I'm putting it in raw. You can seal it off in a pan, but I never do. I actually poach it in this. So they're skinless chicken breasts I'm using, and we're just going to literally stir this through. Going to bring this back to the boil here, and we're actually poaching it in this, so we are. So I've cut them nice and thin. So say this is the chicken breast, I've sliced them like that, really, really nice and thin. And we're just going to stir this through here. So because I've cut them really nice and thin, it's not going to take long to cook them, honestly. This sauce can be made up, and say you've leftover roast chicken, you can actually take the skin off, and then you can take, you can kind of shred the chicken, and then just warm it through if you want to. Now I'm going to let that just come back to the boil. Just give it another little stir. That's perfect there. So just keep what you're doing, it's just kind of softening and kind of like stirring through the sauce and the chicken. So you can poach this. Now I've made this curry with monkfish, which works really well too. Obviously monkfish won't take as long as chicken breasts to cook. Now we're going to put in some mango chutney. So this is, I'm going to put in 2 spoonfuls of this. So this is produced from an Irish company called Wexford Preserves. So Tom and Laura, they really make beautiful jams, and they're great people. So I've had the pleasure of going down and seeing them hard at work. So Wexford seems to be a great place for producers. So we're using the Thai Gold from the coconut milk, which I think is just the best. Now, so the mango chutney is important, and I have a bit of a sweet tooth, but really important at the very end, we're going to put in the juice of a lime. So I don't want to forget that. Okay. With this, we're going to put in chickpeas. So I have a can of chickpeas just rinsed. So what we're going to do is we're just going to let this come back to the boil, and then we're going to add in the chickpeas at the very end. And we're going to chop some coriander. Now, I want to just go back to the rice here. So if you look at it now, we're going to switch it off. And then I don't want to stir it now. I want to just let it just finish off. The steam should cook it through. You have that lovely kind of like flavour from the butter, from also the stock cube, which will give great flavour to this. Now I want to show you what I've done. Sweet potato is lovely. Normally when I do this recipe, I actually cook the sweet potato with the onion and the garlic, but it actually takes over 20 minutes, and I wanted to get this this video done in a certain time. So I've diced the sweet potato into small little cubes, and I've just literally steamed it. So it's more or less cooked, and I'm just going to warm that through. Now you can use butternut squash, you can add spinach in at the end, you can put pak choy, you can put peppers into this. So you can decide what you want and what vegetables you like in this. So it's really important that we make sure that the chicken is cooked through, so keep stirring this. So that's really, really important. So you can see the little kind of chopped tomatoes, and these are the best. So the chicken is really, really thin. I'll just take up a little piece here and I can show it to you. Sorry, here we go. So it's really, really thin, so it's not going to take long to cook. So just keep stirring that there until it just comes back to the boil. And literally, it's going to not take long to cook at all. So I don't want to put that in soon, or the sweet potato is going to be overcooked. So just move that over there out of the way. Now, herbs. Basil works really well in this, and coriander. So I'm just going to get some lovely fresh coriander. And I'm going to literally pick this, and we're going to chop this. So when you're keeping any kind of herbs, particularly coriander, flat leaf, parsley, that kind of thing, if you put damp tissue, and it keeps really well in the fridge. And I'm going to show you just the technique of just chopping some lovely fresh herbs. So the stalks too, we're using the large chef's knife, So it's going to make a little bit of room here. Curving your fingers. Your fingers are curved like this. And then you just, using the big knife, rock it over and back. So this is my bamboo chopping board that I'm using, and underneath we have this little rubber mat. I'll just show you there, Imelda. It just stops it from moving. That's a really important piece of equipment, I think, so in the kitchen, is a good chopping board, a good knife, and that little rubber mat. So see the way I'm rocking it over and back? This is going to go in now into my curry. And I like basil. I have to say it's one of my favourite herbs. So I have a lovely little basil plant here, which I'll just pick off some of these leaves. So it's actually tricky herb to grow, basil. So it is, because if you store it in the fridge, it goes black. So if you buy these little plants, just keep them topped up with a little bit of water, and you can use them. Now you can add mint into this, which works really well too. But basil, I think, is beautiful. So the same technique, but I'm not going to chop it. I'm going to cut into little thin strips. So see the way my finger is curved. So when you do that, it means that the knife will never nick your finger, and that's really important. Good knives are so important. So if I left that now for about half an hour, it would bruise and go black. So I'm going to put it straight in there. Now we need to put salt into this, we need to put lime, and we need to put the chickpeas at the very end. So just stir this through here. If you can see this here, it's cooking up really, really nice. You're probably wondering, well, why don't you brown off the chicken? But there's no need to. When you're poaching it in that, it's absorbing or the chicken, when you're poaching it in that curry, it's absorbing all those lovely spices. And trust me, those spices are really excellent. Okay, I'm going to put in a couple of pinches of some salt. And this is our lovely sea salt from Clogherhead, Oriel Sea Salt. So they have their PGI status, which means it's protected geographical indication. So it's a really, really good product. I'm going to put in my sweet potato now. So just get your sweet potato. Remember, this is steamed. It's surprising how long it takes to cook sweet potato, even from scratch. So I'm just going to scoop this in here. This is my little steamer basket here. Move that out of the way. I haven't even went near the rice. I've just given it one or two little whisks, and it's cooking up nicely here. Now look at that. So you can see we're getting really nice colour. Sweet potatoes, whenever we make this in the cookery school, some people say, oh, I'm not a fan of sweet potatoes, but when they taste this, we do convert them. Chickpeas, I like them. I'm not dying about them, but I do like them, and they have great texture. So this is a can of chickpeas. Rinse them through a sieve with cold water, and these will give great texture. So food is all about flavour, texture, and good ingredients. And this curry here will keep in your fridge for up to 5-6 days, and you can freeze it. It's a great recipe, so it is. Now, there's one thing I need to do. So we put in our salt. The chicken is very, very thin, and you can see it even better now, so you can, since I've added in the sweet potatoes, and it's taken on that lovely turmeric and that lovely curry powder. Now our lime. So I'm going to put in the juice of a lime, and this is really important. So here we go. There is one half, and then the other half. And then we're ready to serve. It's as simple as that. The chicken doesn't take long to cook. When you slice it nice and thin, that's really, really important. Okay, so let's get my bowl. Let's have a little look, or my plate. You can do it in a bowl either. Oh, this is great. Here, Mel, have a little look. So you can see the way it's fluffed up. That's exactly what I want. I'm delighted with that now. So we're using just 2 spoons. You can put herbs into this if you want to. So this is the basmati rice cooked in some water, some butter, and also a little bit of salt, and then we added in the stock cube. So that's a trick. Keep the lid on that. And then our curry. So bring over the plate and just go right into the middle. The chicken is really, really thin, so that's cooked. The sweet potato, remember what I said, I had it steamed, so that I was really just warming it up. Actually, it wasn't too cold in here. And then just spoon this on here. So you can see the chickpeas, you can see the curry, you can see that nice chicken there, and those lovely herbs, and lots of that lovely sauce. Now, so that's a recipe that we really enjoy at home. That is my chicken, sweet potato, and chickpea curry with our basmati rice. So I hope you give this a go. The secret is good quality chicken, really good spices, the tomatoes and the coconut milk. It's creamy, it's rich, it's fresh, and it's full of flavour. So enjoy this, and happy cooking.